Hello, everyone, and welcome to the unofficial English broadcast of the RPL. I am D2, and joining me this time after I ripped him out of bed is Niberia. What's up, Niberia?
D2, let me give you an update on my life. I am sick and tired of not having some RPL to cast, but that's all going to be fixed today. So we're golden. Totally not talking about the fact that I got up at 6 and went to bed and finally fell asleep at 2. It's fine. Everything's going to be okay.
Everything's going to be absolutely okay. And I'm just happy that I don't have to solo cast 3 matches in a row. It's not only going to be you on the co-cast, but also it's only going to be 2 matches today, so I don't have to kill myself. That's Anyway, but I do really want to do the RPL going forward. So we are 4 weeks through, 4.5 weeks through at this point, actually. And I'll be continuing to do this every Monday through Wednesday for the next 4 weeks. So make sure you guys tune in. These are our standings, 1 through 8. The top 4 go to the playoffs. And by the way, this is a $180,000 prize pool tournament. So it is a big deal. And if you go over to the link on the top right corner there, you will see that there's probably 5 digits watching right now and probably 6 digits viewers watching on YouTube only, by the way, once IT.City Bacon comes up.
Yeah, it's a pretty ridiculously popular league here, but that's no surprise. We're going to have Alpha Red versus Buriram Arctic Wolf, whose abbreviation is just so incredibly great. It's just Brawl.
Brawl.
Dude, we're just going to see some sick arena Valor, Brawl.
And then our next match is going to be IT.City Bacon versus Toyota Diamond Cobra. I guess we're going to call him TDC. But as you can see on the screen there, even though I just started doing these unofficial broadcasts yesterday, we are into match 32 and 33 as we take a look at Bra here with Romeo, 2 No Name, Mons, J-Gods, and Cointer. By the way, just based off of the set pieces, who do you think is going to win? Just based off of their jumping punches, who do you think is going to win?
You know, honestly, I was impressed by the jumping punches of Brawl, but then, Alpha Red just came in and really killed it with the punching, and then Frozen Kiss there with the pointing. I think that added a lot. You have that sort of cool general look in addition to the running, jumping, and punching. So I think really that adds a dimension that Brawl just can't compete with, D2.
Yeah, well, we're taking a look at Alpha Red right now. And they have SD, first one, NT, Taos, and KSSA. I guess we can call them Kissa, just to make it easier on ourselves. But lots of abbreviations there. And this is the #1 team in the league, not IT.City Bacon. In case you guys are unaware, IT.City Bacon was the team that represented Thailand in the AWC, and the team that nearly won the World Championship, coming 1 game short. But that team is not currently in first place. This team, Alpha Red, is. They are currently 8-0 in series played and have 16 points to their name. So they are way ahead of the pack here.
Yeah, and if you're Brawl, you really have to be aware of this. And, that's sort of the game itself. The metagaming is the mental aspect of it. You have to make sure that you're playing your very best against these top teams. And sometimes that makes you play worse, ironically, because you're so nervous. But I'm expecting Buriram to put up a little bit of a fight, but Alpha Red should, by and large, come away with this series.
Yeah, the funny thing is, yesterday, Alpha Red actually lost their 3rd game of the season, interestingly enough, and they're 16-3, so, but I thought it was pretty interesting because their opponents, Evo's debut, were putting up a good fight. They were actually trying to contest different objectives. They weren't able to win in the end, the entire series, but it was a competitive series all around. Whereas when I watched the next game, Bazaar versus RRQ just laid down and died. They didn't even, every single objective was just not even contested. They would just throw out, Chognar 1 ability, I'm forgetting what it's called, but they're like, I hope this gets the Abyssal, and not even really trying to contest it. And then, yeah, it was just a walkover. Whereas I feel like I want to see Buriram, even if they lose, put up a good fight like Evo's debut did yesterday and actually be aggressive and try to contest objectives and whatnot.
That's the goal. You can get those tighter placements. You can get a more competitive region. And then, well, for everyone else, that's really unfortunate. But for RoV, that'll make them real happy.
Yeah, especially I love how this is called ROV, by the way. They never switched over to AOV. It's just Rorina of Valor. No, it's Realm of Valor, but
I
yeah.
like Buriram Valor more.
Yeah, Rorina of Valor as we get into our ban pick situation right here. Um
Nothing too surprising so far, D2. I mean, Grack, Lindis,
I'm
both pretty highly contested.
honestly, I think this is okay. They do ban the Mina. I was about to say that the Grack ban is kind of living in the past. I feel like Grack has been so highly rated in Thailand for so long, and we saw that come out in the AWC boot camp. Everyone's like, "Wait a second, Grack has played in Thailand," and then Thailand was so good that like everyone's like, "Let me try that." But Grack he's reasonable, but he's not like the super S tier hero that Thailand has believed him to be for so long. In fact, Thailand has started to move, the top teams have moved away from him and moved toward Mina. So I'm not really liking the Greg ban, but they do follow up with a Mina, so that makes sense in a certain regard.
The Valheim and Morin bans coming in as well. Neither terribly surprising with the change for, I think it was the Blitzblade for
Right.
Valheim. It became really good suddenly, but the March ban is something that I am still a little iffy on. Is that just because of the Barrow's buff, or
Okay, Amarja, she actually got a lot stronger just by putting damage onto her third ability, Ghostwalk. It made her into a completely different character because you play her completely different now. Now, first of all, you don't play her in the mid lane. That's just idiotic. People realize that you don't play her in the mid lane. You play her in the side lane, and she's basically like a different version of Valheim, a ranged solo laner that can really bully people out of that lane. And prior to her change, the fact that her Ghostwalk did barely any damage meant that you had to just wait for it to you had to basically wait for it to be a panic button, and when you got low, you just ran away. But now you can actually use it to damage, use it to chase, use it to bully people out of the lane, and you can. It's just she's just doing a lot more damage than she used to be able to. It's basically an entirely different hero. Um, but we do have the Violets coming out here. I think they might go for an Arum just so that just to have that combination together. Obviously, you're not
oh
too.
baby,
The Pura comes out. Yeah, we haven't seen too much Pura in this league yet, but I'm certainly not opposed. She has been really good since the buff to her ultimate ability.
NPR is just good, pure fun. So enjoyable to see that good support combo there for that Violet gives her a lot of healing. A little bit of stuns on top of it, but the Malik was that first pickup there for Brawl. Strong solo laner. We'll have to see what they answer with here. Do you expect a marksman pickup at this point, or is it more going to be on the remaining solo lane in the jungle?
They might decide to go for a Slims because I wouldn't be too surprised if Alpha Red takes the Slims and steals it away from them, so that just to take away the highest remaining marksman jungler. But they do go for the Arum. Arum, despite being somewhat countered by Violet, is just so strong that it's worth picking anyway. I've seen this happen lots of times where like you wouldn't think you'd pick an Arum into a Violet, but she's just too good. We also have the Crixie pickup, but who, by the way, has a 70% win rate in this league. If you guys didn't
Good
know,
lord.
it's pretty nuts. So, yeah. Also,
I knew she was strong, but oh, Natalia.
yeah,
That is not a pick I was expecting, D2.
Natalia is extremely popular in Thailand. Extremely popular. In fact, she's gotten like banned and picked pretty often. In fact, she was banned every single game in my first series yesterday, and that was when Evo's debut was playing against Alpha Red. So yeah, NT apparently really loves Natalia because the opposing team banned it all 3 games against him. So we're gonna likely see some really good Natalia play.
Which is exciting because being a homegrown North America solo queue boy, I have not really seen the peak of Natalia play, to say the least. But hopefully today, NT can deliver the Omen pickup as well. Great side laner, especially into that tankier Malik. But then Roxy and Slims, the pickups here for Buriram. Interesting.
Yeah, Slims is not a surprise at all. The Roxy is really not a surprise either. It's just interesting to see how they're going to do this because they don't really have a true support. They're probably going to go with Arum as a support. That's the most supporty character they have on their team. Looks like Alpha Red finishes off with Yoma. Yoma is kind of like a pseudo-range DS laner because of his insane range. Even after the nerf to his range a couple of patches ago. But yeah, certainly a solid pick there. It's Gonna be interesting because I wonder how they're gonna split their picks. I think they're gonna go Dioma versus the Malak, and probably if they had their druthers, sometimes you can't tell if they hide it well enough, and they probably go with the Omen against the Roxy or the Arum. Actually, this is really interesting. The more I think about it, Brawl just won the side lanes pretty much with the Arum Roxy. Although I guess they're gonna go with Malak, so this is gonna be interesting. Like honestly, this sounds weird. I wonder if they go. I'm kind of babbling, but I wonder if they just go Roxy and Arum side lane and then have like a roaming Malak. I guess that's too crazy, right? Maybe.
Well, maybe after he gets level 4, he could switch to a sort of roam because then you do have that ranged engage for him with shock. Because before then, he doesn't really do a whole lot as a roam. Like, he doesn't have reliable CC or anything. He just kind of walks at them and looks spooky. And that's about all he can provide. But after you get level 4, you get your ultimate.
Oh
Maybe
my
you get a little
goodness.
bit of roam. Ooh.
Cointer got extremely just destroyed by NT there. Yeah. By the way, Natalia, do not get hit by your abilities. You're going to get wrecked.
It looks like the invade continuing here from Alpha Red. They really want to get that pressure onto the Sage Golem here early. Might be able to get a steal. Cointer's pretty low. They don't get the buff, but they do force the flicker out from Cointer. And they'll back off now.
I'm just
A little worse
surprised.
for Weir, actually, in that trade.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're actually even in gold after all of that, because usually when you lose a buff and your jungler gets 0 buffs, you're typically behind. I mean, something is more than nothing. I don't know if that's good math, but it's like
It's technically correct math, D2.
I don't know how this happened. But it looks like Tao just walks in and steals the red buff from under the nose, so things are looking okay for Alpha Red.
That'll balance things out a little bit. Wow. That is some ridiculous chunk there from Natalia.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, over the past few patches, Natalia got a buff to her second ability and her first ability. I'll look up those ability names so we aren't grasping in the dark the entire time. But yeah, so now it's a lot easier to hit her abilities. Before it was a bit harder because you could just dodge it, but now as long as you're on point, it will hit. And on top of that, if you have a coordinated team that will set up and basically force your opponents into a funnel so you can hit your abilities, then she becomes ridiculous. So.
And Alpha Red really have that, though. Like, Pura has such great CC. Omen has lockdown with his ultimate. Ryoma as well. Can provide some decent range stuns to set up for that Natalia damage. So this composition going to work really well. But Cointer about to get caught out there. He gets the stun, or tries for it at the very least. Forced to back out, loses about half his health. Abyssal Dragon just going to be reset. Alpha Red not ready to go for it, but they might be looking for a kill here on the Mons. But a great knockoff from him to answer. The flicker should be enough to get him out.
That's a couple of flickers used, though. And I mean, the Arm's going to have hers up soon, but they're getting chased down in their own jungle. Typically, the Arum is just so good in the early game. It's kind of funny to see her getting bullied out here.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be able to put out a whole lot of pressure. Like, just kind of getting caught out, forced to blow the 2, and then it's like, all right. Oh, and we see there getting pulled out again. The first blood comes down, but Romeo with a great shock onto 4. It just doesn't matter. There's not enough follow-up. Natalia damaged so much to dissuade the re-engage. Looks like Alpha Red want to start that Abyssal Dragon. Mons on the flank might be looking for some sort of contest, but doesn't look like they're going to go for it. Abyssal Dragon should go over to Alpha Red, no problem.
I'm just laughing at NT stealing the monster from under Slims with just her arcane spirits, because she does so much damage. You're like, no, that's mine. I'm sorry. You thought that was yours. I actually, without any jungle items, just my first ability, arcane spirits, can deal with that. By the way, I did look up the ability names. Arcane Nova, her second ability. So she wants to go Arcane Nova into Arcane Spirits and then blast people to death with lethal rays.
Luckily, though, Spirit Sentinel goes over to Buriram. And now... Oh! Well, they were able to steal back a camp. They're 1 for 1 now in stolen camp. No, 2 for 2 if you include the buffs. It's a tight race in that. And everything else, really, if you look at the gold.
Right. I mean, they've been stealing camps back and forth. It's hard to keep track at this point. But the important thing is that Alpha Red has that gold lead. And wow. Oh, no. NT with the...
Lord. Nair goes down. NT getting pretty low, but he won't get killed by it. And Cointer now getting chased down into the jungle. Able to peel off with that too and keep himself safe.
I know how that feels as NT. You feel like the opposing enemy is right there, so all you have to do is tap your abilities and it will go. But unfortunately, the arm was right there, so that means she tried to get her lethal raise off on the Crixie, but it retargeted to the wrong target. That's why you have to sometimes aim your abilities even when they're right next to you. And NT, even though he's a great player, a little bit of a rookie mistake there.
I can see the reason for the Natalia ban now. Just look at that damage. Even though the kill goes down onto Violet, just so much of that chunk was provided there by NT. The double kill being fed right onto first one. And they should be able to pick up this tower in the mid lane as a result.
Look at the audacity of Omen being in the bottom lane, just cutting off the wave when Malik is sitting right there. He's just living in the opponent's base. Like, I don't even care if I'm between two towers. You can't do anything about me.
Yeah, I mean, his team has so much pressure across the map. Like, really, what response can there be? The moment you move up into there, if you can't win the 1v1, you just die because your team can't respond, or they'll lose the tower, or possibly the second tower, or possibly an Abyssal. Like, Alpha Red has such ridiculous pressure at the moment.
Yeah, it just goes to show how having good rotations by itself can just win you a game. And not only does it help the Omen out, but it helps the Natalia out, because every time she's ready to blow someone up, her allies are there to help her out and help her aim them. Speaking of Natalia blowing people up, Roxy's taking quite a bit of damage, but doing a bit of her damage herself to the Dioma, as looks like Bra wants to go ahead and take this Abyssal Dragon this time.
They saw two top. They decided that the Abyssal Dragon is easy enough to contest for them.
Oh, stole it! Fire in the hole. Take that.
I was going to make words in the opposite direction of that, D2, but apparently that would have been a mistake. Holy hell.
First one is good Violet. She's a pretty good Violet. Just
really?
Perfect timing on that. That was absolutely awesome. A bit of a skirmish here. Wow,
Pointer has the snare down on the first one, so they can't finish the kill just yet. The snare expired. Finally, they're going to go back in. They pick one off. Natalia putting out a lot of damage. Teo's forced to come out of the fight. Romeo is going to be the one chased down here, but they have the tower still available. What will Alpha Red do with that information? They don't get the Might Golem. Able to pick up one camp, and they should be going just for that tower there. Their second one. No, now third of the game.
So good individual play by Cointer. If you guys haven't played Arum before, that play was extremely hard to pull off, going for the flicker into the snare into three people and getting the right target. But unfortunately, the follow-up from her team wasn't there, and Alpha Red just kind of sat there and said, okay, we're not going to kill our own teammate, and she got out scot-free.
It's still almost a better play than doing nothing, though, because at least you stalled and kept yourself alive for a little bit. But like you said, Buriram just didn't follow up on the CC, and it was such a great pick, but no dice there, and as a result, they lose the fight pretty much entirely, and now Alpha Red have this massive lead, over 3k, 3 towers, and 2 Abyssal Dragons. They are just starting to run away with the game.
So I think that Alpha Red's next objective here is to go ahead and take out this mid and top secondary tower, so that they have their opponent zoned out in order to take the Dark Slayer. So that's why you see them kind of sharking around here and seeing if they can't get a pick, because a pick means a tower, and a tower means Darkslayer.
Now they're going to try and keep pressure down onto the side lanes, like you were saying. A lot of damage going down onto Toon there. He might get taken out. Slims is down. Romeo, the next one to follow. That Malik can't keep himself alive. Another double kill for first one here. And this should be the tower, but they're looking for a pick onto Cointer. A lot of damage from NT. It's going to be enough.
Could they just end right now? They have 3 people dead. The timers are pretty high, especially considering that the minion wave is right here. Monz needs to clear this wave, but they're getting right on top of him. I think that's just game, I think. Like, okay, they're going to back off. They're not going to risk it, especially because they're so dominant that these death timers are actually pretty short still.
And they really don't need to push in for the win at this point, because they're so far ahead that they can sort of stall it out. They can get that Abyssal Dragon. They can rotate up to Darkslayer after that. So they really get to choose how they kill their opponents at this point. And they're going for the slower, more controlled method.
Well,
you know what? Fair enough.
Unfortunately, I made the same mistake I make every single game, which is covering up the stats with the the message in the top right. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Well, at the very least, looks like Slims is starting to get online here. He has extreme attack speed. As long as he has his stacks there, he has, like, I think 75% attack speed right now. So he can get a lot of damage in, especially if he lands those crits with the Clavis Sancti. He might be okay, but facing a lot of damage on the other side, obviously.
Yeah, NT, we're seeing him just shoot out a few abilities here and there. Should be able to do quite a bit of
Pierre's
poke.
like, I can solo the Dark Slayer.
Yeah.
I can do this if I try.
I like that attitude. Like, it's either you guys help me or we're going to see the first Pura solo Dark Slayer. Pick your poison.
Right, well, looks like they're going to be able to take it down. Romeo is sharking around here on the Malak. Can he go ahead and steal it? Nope. Not going to happen.
No, there's almost no way to steal it from first one. He's so far ahead, and you're going to see it in this fight. He takes down Toon, no problem. Tea's getting a little bit low, but Cointer, the second one to fall in the fight. They're chasing down onto Romeo. The shock out will keep him alive for now, but SD, I don't think he's done with this fight. He gets the stun onto J-Gods, but no follow-up from the team. They just want to focus this mid lane tower, and they'll get it.
Yeah, possibly the game. And they released the Drake here right now, so it looks like they're going to just concentrate everything in this mid lane, at least get this high ground tower. Romeo's doing all he can, but has no real backup. Mons can't even get to the base back in time in order to put that damage in, so Malak goes down. They still have one siege minion left. Can they finish the game? No, they're going to back up once more.
They've got two towers. They've got the siege minion. They've got the dragon.
Again,
I guess they just don't want to fight into 4.
right, it's like, what is... I mean, I was going to say, what is the upside? Obviously, the upside's winning the game, but it's like, expected value. It's like, if we're ever going to lose this game, is if we throw right now. I guess is what they're thinking. It's like, how do we possibly lose this game? We're freaking Alpha Red. They're not going to come back as long as we don't throw.
Yeah. Well, that's a fair point as well. And I mean, if you look at the scoreboard, you can pretty much see that first one 7-0 and 3 on that Violet. The first one to hit level 15 by quite a big margin. And then you also have NT as backup on that Natalia 3-0 and 6. No slouch on the damage department either. So your carries are just so massively ahead at this point that you can just do things like that and just easily steal the Sage Golem away because they can't contest you.
By the way, I love how they had the double timers in the top right, and because of that, the other timer is a bit off of the top because they took it while the Abyssal Curse was still up, which gives you only 50% damage on the remaining epic monster, and didn't really matter. And Romeo!
Oh my god!
Just lasered to death. Oh my god.
Pointer getting the snare, but it just really doesn't matter. Teos has enough health for it, and J-Gods will be the next target. That Roxy, very tanky, but won't be tanky enough if first one decides to get some hits down. But first one actually taking quite a bit of poke damage. They want to go for the win here. Alpha Red get the snipe down on the Toon. Mon's going to be the next target getting taken out by NT's ultimate. And this should be the game here. Alpha Red going to take it 1-0 so far. As soon as they stop stalling, you don't need that kill on the J-Gods.
Yes,
but
they do.
I guess you just want the dominance.
You want those experience points, as many points as possible. But you were talking about first one getting low. It didn't even matter because he had the Dark Slayer buff, from which you ironically get from the Abyssal Dragon. There's a new mechanic in the game where if you kill the Abyssal Dragon, not only does your team get individual buffs, but they also... one character can stand on that Dark Slayer buff thingy and gets essentially the effect of the Death Sickle, where if you take lethal damage, you don't die, and you also get a huge heal. So, yeah, she was not going to die regardless. She had 2 lives. And speaking of not dying, 16-0. That is,
Yeah.
it's a stomp if I've
That's
ever
a
seen
game
one.
you do.
Yeah, absolutely. First one.
Holy cow.
See, the funny thing is, despite NT just melting people, he still only had 23% to the 36% of first one. It just goes to show that when you have a coordinated team, that it doesn't really matter. As far as, having squishy characters in the back that can't move. As long as you're landing your abilities, you're going to do crazy stuff as we take a look at some of these highlights. Yeah, there you go. That flicker ult was amazing, but no follow-up, fortunately. One thing I want to talk about for a second here. Sorry, go ahead.
It may just be a communication error as well, because it looked like the rest of the team just was not ready for that engage there from Cointer. And while it's a brilliant engage, if your team just isn't ready for you to take it, you're going to have 0 success rate.
I love, something just so satisfying watching a Natalia hit all of her arcane spirits onto the same characters. Like, that guy's, he's dead. That one's dead right there.
Yeah, there's no two ways about it. They're host.
Oh, the other thing that they buffed, I forgot to mention, is that if you every arcane spirit that lands, you get zero point 0.6 second cooldown reduction. So
That
it's
is
even better.
disgusting.
It's kind of funny, right? Because when I saw that, I was like, you don't really want to get hit by that anyway. It's kind of like, it's like winning. It's like winning more. I used to cast Hearthstone and play Hearthstone all the time, and like people would just hate win more cards, right? Because it's like if you're winning, then why do you need to win more? But that's certainly like a win more mechanic. If you hit all 5 arcane spirits, then that just means that you get another huge burst of damage. But yeah, I mean, I guess it works. But yeah, I was gonna point out that after like 8 minutes ago, I was gonna point out that part of the reason that backline mages are coming back in vogue is because right now it's kind of the protect the carry, protect the jungler marksman meta, and while you're protecting the jungler marksman, you might as well just protect one more hero, and they shell a lot of damage as it turns out.
Yeah, it was actually nice to see the power curve in full effect that game, where NT was taking over like the early mid game for the large damage source for Alpha Red, and then suddenly there was this massive Violet out of nowhere who had finally had time to scale up. But the entire time, if you're Buriram, you don't have the opportunity to just not focus one of them. You have to have that one target. And Alpha Red just played around that brilliantly in those fights, keeping their carries alive as best they could. And I mean, they kept everyone alive, to be fair, but just real great control there from Alpha Red, showing that they really understand how to play the game.
And the funny thing was, I was initially looking at the Brawl draft, and I was thinking it was pretty decent, especially because they were winning the side lanes, but I was missing the forest for the trees, essentially, because they just didn't have anything to deal with the Natalia and there was the Natalia and the Violet. There's no way to dive them at all, like zero. So they were just gonna go ham, and they did.
I love that they show the last pick ban. That's
Yeah,
so nice.
it's very useful, right?
God,
They do the same thing in
that's production quality.
they do the same thing in the GCS. By the way, I love the have they showed the holograms yet this cast or this
Yeah, like at the very beginning, like in front of the stage.
yeah.
That's
That's
so great.
I'm like, what? That's really awesome.
I think Dota was the first one to do it with one of the TIs. And it's
Oh,
such a cool feature. Like, it's so great.
I was wondering
Yeah,
if
there it is.
yeah, I was wondering if they came up with it or if they got it from another league. I do not
I
have.
think Dota was the first one to do it with their. They actually had VR for it, which was ridiculous.
These band pick stages are so interesting to me because sometimes it's like all mages, sometimes it's all side laners, and this time it's just all marksmen. It seems.
Which I don't think will solve any of Buriram's problems, really. Like, Violet, yes, was a problem, but it wasn't because first one was necessarily playing Violet. It was because first one was playing a marksman and was entirely uncontested. Yes, Violet is really strong, but I don't see a reason that Violet in particular was the biggest problem. Maybe that's just me.
They've also kind of painted themselves into a corner because they've clearly come into this game saying, okay, we're going to ban the Grak and the Mina in order to prevent, what was it, KSSA? I'm guessing, I think KSSA is their support, right? In
Yeah.
order to prevent KSSA from going off, right, with those two support heroes because they're so powerful. But it just really limits what they're able to do if they have to ban those heroes. By the way, Malok has been heavily banned. I would say at least half of the games of yesterday were Malok banned. So it's pretty interesting to see him get through both drafts so far. But certainly Alpha Red doesn't have a problem with that, and because they won the last game. And Bra is just saying, well, we're gonna take away Mina and Grak, and we have nothing else to ban except for the crazy Violet that got out of control. So yeah.
And now they've kind of left everything else open on the field. Like, sure, they locked out those two supports, but now Alpha Red gets 2 picks of pretty much anything they want. And
Yeah,
I'm not sure what it's going to be, but it's probably going to be a problem for Buriram.
and the thing is, you can kind of feel the difference in their strategies coming in. Bra is afraid of certain heroes, whereas Alpha Red is just like, we would prefer not to play against these heroes, but really we're okay. We'll kill you anyway.
Yeah.
So
Now we're seeing a similar priority as last for for them. They just want that support marksman combo locked down early. And this is actually, I am kind of interested in seeing this duo combo just because you both have those long range line stuns. If you land the Pura one, you can almost guarantee a spear to follow up, which is a long CC. Not that Alpha Red even needs it, but if they can get that pick pretty early on into the game, I think they might even be able to snowball faster than last.
Let's look at these statistics on the bottom here with Malak. 51% pick, 37% ban, and 55% win. So it's not like he's dominating games. Do you think that that's just kind of players following into a habit of banning him?
I mean, 55% win rate isn't like anything to sneeze at. Granted, we're only
Well, we're 4 weeks
32
in.
series in, so it's like a decent. I mean, it's a decent sample size, but I really think he's just good to play around. Like, he's a very strong side laner who has a great team fight presence, and that's easy to play around. It's easy to execute on. But the Natalia response from Buriram, I don't know if Pointer is going to be as good at playing that as NT was, because NT just kind of
Well,
owned the game from minute one.
it's not going to be Cointer, I don't think, because Cointer, I believe, Cointer was someone else, right? He was the
Pointer
Aram,
was RM last game.
right? Who was their
So
I can't.
Mons?
I don't even remember who their mid was. They were that ineffective.
No, they were too busy being dead. I don't.
It's like, how could I look at their name when they're in the fountain, right? Looks like they're going. Oh, okay, never mind. That graphic was a little bit behind. I was like, they're gonna go with Roxy and Grixie. Like, wait a second, that was already taken. Yeah. Honestly, what I'm most interested to see here. This sounds really bad. I'm already kind of just slamming on Brawl already, but I want to see the difference between Braw's Natalia and NT's Natalia. Like, Natalia seemed absolutely broken the game, just melting through people. But it's gonna look a lot different this game. I mean, I might eat my words, but I think it's gonna look a lot different this game when Natalia's missing her abilities and not doing a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, NT was landing pretty much everything incredibly reliably. So I don't know if you can count on that from any other team. Oh, Arm or Xenial? What do you think, D2? Probably Arm, but
Yeah, she's in general the stronger character. The funny thing about this is they've put themselves in the opposite position of last game because Bra has Natalia Marksman Jungler, and now Alpha Red has no dive. So let's see how they deal with this.
I think they might just focus on trying to get a pick off. I'm actually interested that SD is taking Punish at this point. He might switch it out. There's still a few seconds left in draft, but
Roxy typically plays side lane with Punish. Just to get her Leviathan, I believe. I don't think she plays Loki's Curse. I just see when I play on ladder on Diamond, I see Roxy play that all the time, and I've seen it in these pro leagues as well. I think she goes to Leviathan. I don't believe it's what's it called? The Loki's Curse, because some of her damage scales with HP, and Leviathan has the second highest HP in the game behind the forgetting the name of the item, the one with all of the HP.
Amulet of Longevity?
Yeah, that's the one. So it has the second most in the game behind that, so that's why you do that.
We figured it out. We got there.
Eventually.
That's quite the roster they've got there. That's an 8-player roster. Good lord. That is subs galore, but it's all right. Buriram back on the field trying to get revenge for last game, while his Alpha Red just wants to close out the series to a 2-0.
Really
Based on the draft alone, D2, who do you think has the upper hand?
Based on the draft, I think Bra does, but you can't, because that same exact draft lost the last game, but I just trust Alpha Red to somehow find a way to win the game regardless.
Yeah, it looks like a buff trade coming out so far from both teams. No problem there. More standard this time than last, but that's not exactly comforting for Buriram because they got the advantage at the level 1 last game and still lost.
Before we get too far into this game, I want to point out that the stats on the bottom for Fennec were like 40% win rate and like 25% pick rate. So
that's not
he's reasonable. Though he wins when you snowball games, but the only teams that have been able to snowball games are the good teams, and good teams don't find themselves in a predicament where they have to pick Fennec. It's kind of like if you had to pick Fennec, then you're probably not a good team, and good teams can't win, and bad teams can't win with Fennec. So,
Yeah.
so if somehow a good team decided on their own to pick him, I think they would win with him. He's not necessarily that bad.
And it's funny because Buriram sort of drafted themselves into that corner because they were the one who banned out pretty much all of the marks.
Right. Well, Lindis and the Morn were banned from Alpha Red.
Yeah.
But anyway, J-God's a little bit late on the Death Embrace. Or the Death's Beckon, excuse me. All this death in this game.
It's sort of like Zephys, where every ability is death.
Exactly.
Passive, unwavering death. 1, Death Rift. 2, Death Flurry. Oh, speaking of death, hold on. This fight's going to go pretty well for Alpha Red. They're getting a lot of AoE damage now, forcing out the flickers. They might not be able to get the full engage. Romeo coming in for the flank. The heal is going to go out from Alpha Red, getting them a little bit of mobility. NT getting chunked down pretty significantly. He's incredibly low. He gets popped. Mon's able to pick it up there. First for him.
Well, happy to see Mons prove me wrong and really land those arcane spirits basically by himself, killing the Crixie, first chunking him down and then getting him with the very end of the range of the arcane spirits. If you guys don't know, the animation kind of stops for like a split second and then it just keeps going for a little longer. So if you're playing in a game against Natalia, stand a little bit farther than you normally would, or else you're going to get chunked.
It's like playing against Crixie, where you think, oh, I'm fine here. Mischief is out of range. And then, despite the animation, you get hit anyways. And you just feel so awful. It's like, oh,
yeah, in general, with the exception of Mina's second ability, every single ability is like a tiny bit longer.
Which is so frustrating to play against. It's just like, oh, come on, guys.
You just got to get used to it. But Buriram doing pretty well for themselves here. That last fight, I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that first the Roxy missed her Agni's Grasp, which meant that she was kind of out of position, and they didn't get the pick that they wanted to get there. And then also the Fennec had the Spirit Sense on the buff, so the entire time he's getting healed. And wow, nice Agni's Grasp there. Oh, misses the spear? Did he miss that? What happened there?
I think so.
Maybe it was like
it didn't get stunned.
He doesn't have flicker either, so not really sure what happened there. But lots of damage going on to Toon, and we're just gonna reset, I suppose.
Yeah, Alpha Red not doing too hot in this early game here. Granted, they're not incredibly behind or anything. They're just down like 100 gold, but compared to last game and compared to their dominance by the early mid, they're really just low on tempo.
Right, well, that's the thing. That just goes to show their rotations are superior, as Talos gets the pick up here. But they lost the Abyssal Dragon, yet they were pretty much even in gold. Now, about to potentially to take the lead here. So, yeah, just superior rotation sometimes can get there for you.
Looking to chunk down this bottom tower, try and get pressure onto that, force a response from Buriram. Meanwhile, in the top lane, everyone's just scrapping it out, giving a little duel going down. Yeah, J-God's going to be there to clear the wave.
Roxy's one of the few heroes who can actually deal with Omen one-on-one and not get completely wrecked. Sometimes you can, successfully run away from him. Like if I'm playing my max or something, I can smooth moves on him when he Death's Embrace me, but you can't really kill him unless he's just not playing very well. Whereas Roxy just has crazy healing, crazy damage if you stand in her fire. So that's one way you can counter Omen, is to just get that Roxy up there.
Now, everyone resetting, just clearing waves. Tao's down there in the bot lane, just going to pick up a little bit of gold, a little bit of experience. The Abyssal Dragon, once again, going to be contested, but Alpha Red has the man advantage here, 4/2. Oh, the engage comes out, and Toon, the first one to get picked off, but a lot of damage coming out from both teams. The Abyssal is finally picked up there by Alpha Red, and Romeo incredibly low at this point. They're chasing down onto him. Alpha Red gets the advantage, the 2 kills in the fight, and the Abyssal Dragon.
All right, Jade's going to try to respawn by going for this tower. Mon's going to try to help him out as well, zoning out members, but he might die for his insolence here, though he's going to just try to jump into KSSA. Gets the Death's Embrace off, but he's going to have to run away, and Mons might be in trouble. She's already used her Arcane Orb and Spirits.
Oh, nope. Stun going wide.
You're seeing the power of Pyrrha, by the way. Like, they just never have to go back to base. And they're always in the fight. That's why they're so ever present. But coins are getting extremely low here.
Yeah, I was saying earlier that Alpha Red wasn't really keeping the tempo they did last game, and then they were like, I'll show you tempo. Hold on. Give me just like 5 seconds. And
Yeah,
now they've picked up the Abyssal, the 2 kills. That fight was just so good for them, and they played it brilliantly. And Buriram just really getting out-rotated and out-macroed at this point.
yeah. Honestly, I think that was really sloppy by Buriram. They probably shouldn't have really engaged in the first place at all because they just didn't have the position to do so. So probably better to just follow the example of their Omen and get progress on the rest of the map. And instead, the team just ended up dying there as we. Oh my goodness!
Oh.
Snare onto Coin just gonna go die. Taos himself's getting extremely low though. Gets melted down by Mons, and Mons gonna go ahead and flicker away. Can they catch up? No, they cannot. It seems like. But
That was just kind of a little bit unexpectedly sloppy there from Alpha Red. Like, sure, you get the pick onto Cointer, but then from there, you don't really have a game plan. Didn't exactly get the engage they were looking for to the follow-up, and they just kind of left their arm out to dry.
something
But
about
1-for-1 isn't the worst that can happen.
something about playing Arum apparently makes people just want to just dive onto 4 people and use Snare. But
And apparently something about playing Roxy once makes you want to get 3v1. Good lord, that was
well,
just painful, D2.
Well, the funny thing is, Roxy and Aram are two of the most insane heroes in the game as far as fighting 1v3 and never dying, never freaking dying. So it's not that surprising to me to see the hero Roxy and the hero Aram fall down like this, but it is surprising certainly to see Alpha Red do so.
Yeah, they've been getting a little bit sloppy in these last few, well, pickoffs. They've not even been full engages. But if you look down onto Buriram, they're starting to scale up. You know, Fennec is 1-1-1. Natalia's got a kill to her name as well. And they've got a pretty impressive damage suite coming out.
Well, the issue that they have though is that Fennec is very much an early game hero, and if you can't snowball, you're gonna fall in trouble. He's kind of like a Batman in a way, because his range is kind of just too short to be able to affect fights, and people can dive him. That said, Alpha Red doesn't really have the dive to kill him, but that's something to keep track of. The fact that Fennec, ooh wow, big
Wow.
moonfall there from the NT. Not gonna get much though, and they're gonna go ahead and heal up, which means that's all for naught. Though the moonfall ult is pretty low cooldown. But yeah, we're going to need Buriram to probably snowball the game soon here, or else they might be in trouble.
And it looks like Alpha Red going to be able to pick up another objective, their second outer tower here of the game.
Oh,
Which
Fennec,
means they just got to go for mid.
yeah, Fennec in mid. Can he take it down? But no, they're rotating over.
Oh, they get the stun onto Toon. That's going to be one dead Fennec there, as well as Cointer. 2 for none. Pick off in the mid lane for Alpha Red.
Like
No wave, though, for the mid.
that's got to feel bad. Imagine you're just a little fox and you're rolling around and you get hit by a spear mid roll, and you're suddenly really dizzy, and then
And suddenly jumped on by 4 other people.
Oh!
Like, wow.
wow,
Whoa!
Mon's able to take it
Whoa,
over.
Mon!
And that's kind of funny. She immediately releases the Drake. I don't know if this was the best time to release it, but sure, I guess. Kind of makes it just easy for the opposing team to take it down. But in comes the shock here. In case they're getting extremely low, unable to take him out is Romeo. They take down the tower. Towers is kind of just in there, but taking a lot of damage from Natalia as well. Malik ends up going down first. Then Towers. Case is extremely low.
Alpha
Does
Red's low.
They're coming
That
onto
is-
him. Yeah. That didn't work out
That-
too well for him.
Yeah, that was an awful play by them. I can't even sugarcoat it. That was just genuinely atrocious.
Well, you
Not
sorry, go ahead.
like, okay, it could have been really good, but I feel like after they lost the Dark Slayer, they were just really tilted.
Right, and first one is trying to fight 1v3 here. I felt like that was another opportunity for Broad to just turn on him. They let him get away. The biggest thing here is you can't really jump on Natalia because she will melt you. And that's what's been happening. You saw so many Arcane Spirits go out in that fight and just everyone getting melted. They could not stay alive even through the healing of KSSA.
Yeah, now Braw has a little bit of an advantage here. They've got the Slayer buff. They've got gold advantage by about 1,000. Another duel coming down in the top lane. Looks like
Ult for an
Yeah, they're
ult,
just
neither can move.
ult for an ult makes the whole world blind, and
Oh,
SD
she's dead.
almost getting taken
Oh,
out.
oh, oh! Oh, wow. KSSA used nearly his entire kit to keep SD alive there, using the shield from the Essence of the Wind support item, using her heal as well, barely keeping Roxy up there. But they do lose the tower in the end regardless.
Alpha Red looking to trade in the bot. They might be able to. First one puts out a lot of damage, but not quite enough.
I think that Taos could have secured that. It looks like he was a bit wary of the members coming in. And I mentioned Taos and not the Slims because Taos could have used his snare in order to prevent the enemy from taking out the minions, and then Slims could have finished it off. But I guess they don't really need to kill that tower so badly because the objective isn't up on that side of the map yet. So they're going to play it safe and just rely on their God-given abilities to win this game.
And with their play as of late, honestly, D2, I'd prefer them taking the more careful route because they've just taken like a few too many aggressive fights and suddenly they've lost their lead, which was at one point pretty significant. The snare going down onto Cointer there, putting in a bit of damage, but not going to be enough to kill him. And now everything will reset. Both marksmen at this point, level 15. At a certain point, it's just going to come down to teamfight execution, and Alpha Red just hasn't been living up to the hype so far this game.
Look how much Toon is just completely demolishing this tower, even with no minions there. The thing is,
like you said, low range.
Yeah, absolutely. The next objective is there is no objective on the map as far as neutral objectives like the Darkslayer and the Abyssal Dragon. So that's something to look forward to, which comes up first. Looking at the amount of gold, looks like Fenix ahead by 1,000 on his Marksman Jungler counterpart. They both went for a Scorching Wind as for their first item, going for that attack speed, but in comes the Engage here from Jagus, trying to get that Dark's Embrace off, and it effectively gets KSA down. He's going to die, it seems like, but the rest of the fight is still on. Cointer's already out of this fight. KSA lives? What? Okay. I thought that for sure he's going to die. That Romeo goes down in the meantime. Toon is in trouble. He cannot fight this.
J-God might be able to make it out at this point. Teo's going in.
Oh,
no.
Really?
Not quite able to get it, but that was a 3-for-0 fight for Alpha Red. That was...
Wow, he got saved by RNG there. He got saved by RNG there because if the beast had rotated around in time, he would have died.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, the thing is, Natalia takes out waves pretty quickly, so they try to get greedy and take it out, but did not work out in the end. But first one took some damage from the tower somehow. It's over-aggressive, over-eager, trying to take down that tower. But Alpha Red needs to realize that the marksman isn't here. They can't really siege on this tower. And honestly, the first one being over-eager and jumping into the tower range before the minions were there actually cost them the bottom high ground tower because he couldn't stay in the fight there when they had 5.
Even so, though, they got a whole lot off that play. You know, they evened up the gold and then gave themselves a lead. And were able to pick up that high ground tower in the mid, which means they have a little bit more pressure across the map. From here, though, Dark Slayer spawning just now.
Yeah, they don't quite have position on it. They're kind of letting Buriram get inside there. But that said, they're able to chunk Romeo down. KCC getting down himself. Has to pull up nearly all of his entire kit. They're going to go ahead and chase J-Guys, but he's super slippery with that untouchable. SC gets the Agnes guys on the corner. He's going down. Great ult here. In comes the shock. SC is extremely low, but so is Romeo. And he's going to die on the backside. And both are kind of just backing off at this moment, poking, because they know that everyone is extremely low.
But overall, a 2-for-1 in favor of Buriram's, Alpha Red, who are taking the Dark Slayer now, just trying to zone off as best they can. Abyssal Dragon up in 5, so that might be the response from Brawl. But Dark Slayer is picked up there by Alpha Red, and it looks like that will be the trade.
Right. If you guys don't realize, if you guys don't know, the Abyssal Dragon does give that the team fight bonus. The buff is different for every single hero on the map, depending on what role you are in. For instance, it gives like marksman more crits and pierce, I believe. And like assassins, different thing, like the tanks gives them more health regen, that kind of stuff. But on the other hand, Alpha Red, the buff that they have is health regen and a Drake that they can spawn. Oh, they didn't take the buff. They can take the buff.
You can't.
You can't? Yes, you can.
No. They were standing on it for like 10 seconds. You can't take it because Buriram was the one who killed it. So that all they could do was just defend it.
Oh,
Apparently. Which I
apparent.
didn't think was how that worked either. But
I swear I've seen it taken by the opposing team.
maybe they all had full item slot. Does it take an item
No,
slot?
no, it doesn't take an item slot. I think maybe the Thailand server is different.
Maybe? I'm genuinely unsure. I just know that I saw them standing on it forever and unable to take it. But they looked about as confused as we feel, so
Maybe multiple members were standing on it, and so no one could take it.
eh. At one point it was just Aram.
Huh. Okay. Well,
It was
regard.
really weird.
Well, Alphared's pushing in here. They don't have their Darkslayer buff anymore, and the opponent does have the Abyssal buff for 10 more seconds. They're going to go and jump in here while it's still up there, but shot comes
that's
hit.
a lot of damage.
Oh my god, Taos is about to go down, but he stays alive with that huge health pool. Cointer in the meanwhile goes down as well as Romeo, and they are suddenly in trouble.
A lot of damage onto the Drake there, but it's not going to matter. J-God's getting taken down there, and it looks like the high ground tower will follow shortly. They have the wave. They have the Drake. Are they going to go for the push? Are they going to go for the 2-0? It looks like they will. They're trying to take out Mons, but he gets a return kill. Oh, no one's dead just yet. The heals coming out from KSSA are so ridiculous. Toon going to get taken down, and now the core is going to be the target here. First one, just keep autoing it, and you will get the 2-0 for your team. Alpha Red taking it over Buriram, Arctic Wolf.
That was such an interesting ending there because you saw Roxy had such a high health pool. She had so much health left, so she's like, okay, I'm going to tank the core shots. That will allow all of our minions to stay alive. But all of a sudden, Natalia and the Fennec just melt the 2 damage dealers, so they had no one to actually kill the core. But fortunately for them, Slims comes back. Nice, nice respect coming out from both teams right now.
Alpha Red with a little bit less of a clean victory than they may have liked. They might want to go over that one and see where the issues lay so that they can fix that up for the next one. But still a clean-ish 2-0 for them over Buriram, securing them even more of a lead in that top spot.
Look at this build from Fennec. He actually went for Blade of Eternity and Hyoga's Edge, so a couple of defensive items there. Obviously, Blade of Eternity can help a little bit with your damage because it gives extra 10%, but interesting to see. Also, Curse of Death from J-Gods, supposedly on both Roxy and Arum. Oh, and the Pure, actually, literally everyone. But interesting that they only built it on him. I guess they had the Tome of the Reaper on the Mond as well. But, yeah, if you're Omen, it almost feels like you don't even want to fight them in the first place and provide them that extra healing. But certainly makes sense. It's better to actually be in the fight than not, so.
That'll be our first series of the day, going over to Alpha Red. And the next one should be coming up soonish.
Yep. One thing I want to mention is that Alpha Red is so far ahead in point score that they can afford to have games like this, especially with it, if they get 1-0 in the series, to just experiment. And I wonder if they're trying to just see if they could win a fight with the opposite comp that their opponent had, right? Is that a possibility? Because yesterday they played this game where they picked Telenos and Batman, and they lost, but it didn't matter because they still got 2 points, and their opponent they're not going to contest them for any sort of, for the first place in the league. So, something to think about. That could have been a test game to see, like, can we just beat them with opposite heroes? No? Nibiru, did you die? Hello? Oh, Nibiru says be right back. Just kidding. Alright, so he's gone. And we are likely to go to an interview/break. And next we will have IT.City Bacon versus Toyota Diamond Cobra. And again, in case you guys are unaware, IT.City Bacon is the World Championship finalists. They were 1 game away from being world champions. They were Thailand's representative team at the AWC, who nearly defeated Korea in the finals, and should be mentioned along the way defeated powerhouses like China and Taiwan. So it's going to be an interesting one coming up. They're currently third in this league, but certainly well within the playoff picture because the top four go in, and they're several points ahead of the teams tied for fourth there. I'm just waiting for these guys to look at the camera so we can go to break, and we will be right back.
ปล่อยให้ใครมาแซงแน่นอนเดี๋ยวเรามาสัมภาษณ์เขาดีกว่าค่ะว่าชื่ออะไรบ้างเมื่อกี้เล่นตัวอะไรกันนะคะ
ชื่อเฟิร์สวันอยู่ทีมอัลฟาเลครับเล่นไวโอเลต
ชื่อน้องเทสครับผมเล่นคิกซี่ครับ
คริกซี่
คนละเกม
ก็ในแฟนในเว็บของกาลิน่าเนี่ยเห็นว่าเพิ่งมีคลิป
เล่นอย่างโปร
ไปใช่เล่นอย่างโปรไปสอนตัววาลไฮทำไมไม่เอามาลงในการแข่งขันล่ะคะในวันนี้
ก็ส่วนใหญ่จะโดนแย่งกับโดนแบนครับ
โดนแย่งกับโดนแบน
ตอนนี้มันเป็นเมตาแบบแครี่เลนข้างก็เลยไม่ค่อยได้เอามาจับปลาอะไร
ก็ไปดูได้นะคะที่ว่าเขาสอนเล่นอย่างโปรอย่างโปรจริงๆนะคะแล้วก็เมื่อกี้เห็นมีในเกมที่ว่าเจอฟินิกซ์แล้วมีการรับมือยังไงบ้าง
ก็ต้องใจเย็นนะครับผมเพราะว่าคอมฟินิกซ์มันเป็นคอมที่แบบไฟโหดเราก็ต้องใจเย็นๆพยายามต่อเลือกคู่ต่อสู้ให้ได้มากๆครับ
แล้วตอนนี้ก็ยังคงอยู่ที่หนึ่งของหัวตารางรู้สึกยังไงบ้างคะ
ก็
ดีใจครับ
ดีใจ
แล้วก็คงต้องเตรียมตัวแล้วก็วางแผนเนาะเพราะว่ายิ่งสูงก็ยิ่งหนาวใช่ไหมคะ
ต้องรัดกุมขึ้นเยอะๆครับ
ฝากอะไรถึงแฟนๆดีกว่าค่ะเริ่มจาก first one ก่อนเลย
ฝากติดตามทีมอัลฟาเลสด้วยครับแล้วก็เพจอัลฟาเลสด้วยครับ
มีสตรีมตอนไหนบ้างไหมคะ
ก็มีสตรีมตอนดึกๆครับแล้วแต่ถ้าว่างก็สตรีม
เผื่อใครตามไปดูอะไรอย่างนี้นะคะเรามีอะไรฝากบอกแฟนๆไหมคะ
ไม่มีครับผมก็ฝากติดตามอัลฟาเลสนะครับผม
ก็ติดตามด้วยนะคะสำหรับอัลฟาเลสที่1ของหัวตารางในณขณะนี้เลยเชื่อว่าหลายๆคนนะคะคงอยากดูไฮไลท์ของเกมเมื่อสักครู่ที่ผ่านมากันแล้วถ้างั้นเราไปดูไฮไลท์สวยๆกันเลยค่ะ
ชนะจะเป็นของเรา Welcome to สู่ดินแดนที่ใครต่อใครมาทับปีนไปเข้าตีล้อมจะเป็นแทบตายต้องโดนอีกสักเท่าไหร่สมรภูมิสุดท้ายโลกไม่มีอะไรที่เราทำไม่ได้ Go We are the battles We are fighters กอดคอและไปด้วยกันดินแดนความฝันทุกคนไม่ยอมแพ้แค่ลุยให้รู้ไป This is the place where we are better เปลี่ยนสไตล์ชีวิตใหม่เดินพันสมองเปิดล้อมด้วยความคิด The game of the world Some people walk away, some people want to stay. Everything is up to you, you're gonna win or gonna lose. To live is life to play, cause life is such a game. No matter what it takes, just keep going on before you die. Welcome to สู่ดินแดนที่ใครต่อใครมาทับอินไปเข้าตีล้อมจะเป็นแทบตาย ต้องโดนอีกสักเท่าไหร่สมรภูมิสุดท้ายโลกไม่มีอะไรที่เราทำไม่ได้ Go We are the battles We are fighters กอดคอและไปด้วยกันดินแดนความฝันทุกคนไม่ยอมแพ้แค่ลุยให้รู้ไป This is the place where we are better เปลี่ยนสไตล์ชีวิตใหม่เดินพันสมองเปิดล้อมด้วยความคิด The game of the world This is my life my fight gonna win it and never give up until I die and never give up until I die Welcome to สู่ดินแดนที่ใครต่อใครปะทะปีนไปเข้าตีล้อมเธอเป็นแทบตายมันจะสักแค่ไหนจะปีนขึ้นไปจะไกลเท่าไรจะรออะไร Go We are the battles We are fighters กอดคอและไปด้วยกันดินแดนความฝันทุกคนไม่ยอมแพ้แค่ลุยให้รู้ไป This is the place where we are better เปลี่ยนสไตล์ชีวิตใหม่เดินพันสมองเปิดล้อมด้วยความคิด The game of the world The game of the world
ขอต้อนรับเข้าสู่ RoV Valor Pass ระบบใหม่ที่จะนำคุณไปพบกับความลับของซีเนียลและรางวัลพิเศษมากกว่า 60 ไอเทม ภายใน Valor Pass จะปรากฏคัมภีร์ 2 เล่ม คือคัมภีร์แห่งการเริ่มต้น และคัมภีร์ศักดิ์สิทธิ์ผู้เล่นสามารถปลดล็อกคัมภีร์ศักดิ์สิทธิ์ได้ด้วยการใช้ 250 คูปอง และแพ็คพิเศษ15 ลีเวล ในราคา 490 คูปอง ผู้เล่นสามารถเพิ่มลีเวลของคัมภีร์ศักดิ์สิทธิ์ได้ด้วยการเพิ่มค่าผลงาน ซึ่งจะได้รับเมื่อทำภารกิจ โดยมีทั้งภารกิจรายวัน และภารกิจรายสัปดาห์ และสำหรับผู้ปลดล็อกคัมภีร์ศักดิ์สิทธิ์ขั้นสูง จะสามารถทำภารกิจพิเศษได้อีกด้วย หรือผู้เล่นสามารถเพิ่มลีเวลของคัมภีร์ศักดิ์สิทธิ์ได้ โดยการใช้คูปองจำนวน 50 คูปองต่อเลเวล ผู้เล่นจะได้รับของรางวัลพิเศษเมื่อคัมภีร์ศักดิ์สิทธิ์เลเวลอัพ เช่น สกินพิเศษ ทิกเก็ต มอร์ทอส เลือกรับฮีโร่1ตัวจากทั้งหมดที่กำหนด เลือกรับสกิน 1 สกินจากทั้งหมดที่กำหนด รูปโปรไฟล์ลิมิเต็ดสุดน่ารัก เอฟเฟกต์พิเศษต่างๆ ภายในเกม และสกินสุดเอ็กซ์คลูซีฟ Arrival มูลา
Your trial has ended. You can rest.
พิเศษถึงวันที่ 28 ตุลาคมนี้เท่านั้น นอกจากนี้ผู้เล่นที่มีเลเวลถึง 60 จะได้สิทธิพิเศษหมุนกงล้อแห่งโชคชะตา เพื่อรับของรางวัลพิเศษเพิ่มเติม แล้วพบกัน เริ่ม 17 กันยายนนี้
After your trial has ended, you can rest. After your trial has ended, you can rest. I brought some new toys from the future. Can you hear me as I put that future in love?
You have defeated an enemy.
Slice in time. A slice in time.
An enemy has been defeated.
Just passing through.
Ally has been defeated. Your team has destroyed a tower.
อย่าลืมกดติดตามเพื่อชมวิดีโอใหม่และไลฟ์สดก่อนใคร
Only the dead see the end of war.
You are dead, my dear. Let there be darkness.
I defend this world. Let the light expel the darkness.
darkness. I defend this world. Black and white. Frost and fire. This is a duel of destiny. And you will never be fazed by shadows. You will pass through here. I am not alone.
Double kill. Dominating.
Let the light explode.
Double kill.
I am not alone.
Onslaught.
อย่าลืมกดติดตามเพื่อชมวิดีโอใหม่และไลฟ์สดก่อนใคร
Let the light expel the darkness. Meet your maker. Live in the sun or die in the shadows.
แย่แล้วพายุกำลังมุ่งหน้ามาทางหมู่บ้าน ฉันต้องหาทางยับยั้งโอ๊ยไม่นะ แล้วฉันจะไล่มันยังไงล่ะทีนี้ ไม่ได้ ฉันจะต้องไม่ยอมแพ้ฉันจะต้องหยุดยั้งภัยพิบัตินี้ให้ได้
สวัสดีค่ะ ขอต้อนรับเข้าสู่การแข่งขัน ROV Pro League ซีซั่นที่ 2 Presented by Two Move Edge ค่ะ การเดินทางการแข่งขันวันนี้ดำเนินมาถึงคู่ที่ 2 แล้วค่ะน้องอิ๋ม
ใช่ค่ะ
คู่ที่ 2 วันนี้เป็นใครกันบ้างคะ
คู่ที่ 2 ของเราในวันนี้นะคะ Toyota Diamond Cobra เจอกับ IT.City Bacon ค่ะ
เย้
และตอนนี้นะคะ อิ่มก็อยู่กับตัวแทนจาก Toyota Diamond Cobra เป็นที่เรียบร้อยแล้ว ขอเชิญเขาเลยดีกว่าค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ ก่อนอื่นเลยให้เขาแนะนำตัวก่อนดีกว่าค่ะ
สวัสดีครับก็ชื่อฮิวโก้นะครับชื่อในเกมชื่อ Snowy White นะครับเล่นตำแหน่งโรมมิ่งครับตอนนี้
โรมมิ่งวิ่งทั่วแมปอีกแล้วนะคะ ตอนนี้ได้ข่าวว่าอยู่อันดับที่ 6 ถ้าวันนี้ชนะจะขึ้นมา 2 แต้มอยู่อันดับที่ 4 เลย มีการเตรียมตัวกันมายังไงบ้างคะ
ก็มีการศึกษาคู่ต่อสู้ครับแล้วก็มีการเตรียมแผนเหมือนทุกทีแหละแล้วก็พยายามมากขึ้นกว่าเดิมครับก็จะพยายามให้ดีที่สุดในการแข่งวันนี้ครับ
เขาก็ตั้งใจเตรียมแผนกันมาซ้อมกันมาอย่างดีแน่นอนนะคะ
แล้วอย่างตอนนี้ไลน์อัพของทีมเราลงตัวหรือยังคะเห็นว่าอย่างฮิวโก้เนี่ยก็ได้มีการเปลี่ยนมาเล่นโรมมิ่ง
ก็
ซัพพอร์ตด้วยเนาะ
ครับผมก็เรื่องไลน์อัพก็เอาไว้ไปรอชมในเกมดีกว่าครับอาจจะมีเซอร์ไพรส์บ้างหรือเปล่าหรืออาจจะไม่มี
เซอร์ไพรส์แบบว่า
ต้องรอดูนะ
เซอร์ไพรส์แบบว่าเป็นซัพพอร์ต5 คน
แครี่5
แครี่5อะไรอย่างเงี้ย
เน้นยิงครับไม่เน้นตี
แทงไม่ต้องการแล้วนี่แล้วอย่างทีม Toyota Diamond Cobra เนี่ยมาจากการแข่งขัน King of Gamer เรามีอะไรอยากจะฝากถึงKing of Gamer ซีซั่นที่ 2 น้องๆอะไรอย่างนี้อยากฝากถึงเขาไหมคะ
ครับผมก็ King of Gamer ซีซั่นที่ 1 กับสนุกขนาดไหนซีซั่นที่ 2 ก็ยิ่งทวีคูณขึ้นไปครับ ก็อยากจะฝากน้องๆ King of Gamer ในซีซั่นที่ 2 ไว้ให้รับชมด้วยครับ สนุกแน่นอนครับ
นอกจาก RV Pro League แล้วก็มี King of Gamer ให้ติดตามนะคะ เรียกได้ว่าเขาน่าจะพร้อมกันแล้ว เดี๋ยวให้เขาไปเตรียมตัวในห้องส่งกันดีกว่าค่ะ แล้วพวกเราไปเจอกันในเกม
ครั้งหนึ่ง เราเคยแตกต่าง ต่างมุมมอง ต่างที่มา ต่างประสบการณ์ แต่วันนี้ เราทุกคนต่างมีหัวใจเดียวกัน โลกของ e-sports ที่ค่าของประสบการณ์ไม่ได้ถูกกำหนดด้วยอายุ เพราะเราคือกีฬาที่ไม่ว่าผู้เล่นคือใคร เราทุกคนต่างเท่าเทียมกัน เพื่อความฝันแห่งชัยชนะ ที่จะดังก้องอยู่ในความทรงจำตลอดไป คุณพร้อมหรือยัง ROV Pro League Season 2 Presented by True Move Edge
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the unofficial English broadcast of the RPL Thailand's massive arena of Valor Pro League. I'm D2. With me is Niberia. Hello, Niberia.
Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
It's all right. It's all right. Still waking up, but that's okay. I'm thinking this time TDC wins out in the swag department. Honestly,
Okay.
that
okay.
intro was pretty tight.
I was just
All of
laughing
them
at.
were like brushing imaginary crumbs off their jackets, and I think cleanliness is cool. now.
That is how you show swagger, is to brush those
Yeah.
imaginary crumbs, of course.
Be like, yeah, brushing this chip off my shoulder.
I just found it really funny how, as we took a look at Toyota Diamond Cobra Snowy White, best Mr. Sun's Rie, and Chirawan. If that was Japanese, it'd be Rie, but that's a girl's name, so we're gonna call him Rie, I guess. Anyway, I want to talk about how one of the players on IT.City Bacon was messing with the camera that was on him.
I saw that.
And if I know in the back, production's like, "What are you doing?" Like,
Don't touch it.
we spent 10 minutes per camera setting that up. Oh my
You
goodness.
styled it. Oh, that is a beautiful bonnet there.
Oh, it's wonderful. That all said, Toyota Diamond Cobra is currently tied for 6th place going into this, whereas IT.City Bacon are the defending champions, and they're in 3rd, though it has to be said there's a big gap between them and the teams tied for 4th place. So they're certainly in a really good position as far as playoffs or getting into the playoffs is concerned. Now, being the first seed, that's a different story.
Yeah, first seed. Well, that's almost certainly going to be Alpha Red, especially after that last victory halfway through, and they are ahead by quite a decent margin now, 9-0 compared to IT.City Bacon and Bizarre Gaming, who are both 6-2. After this series, IT.City Bacon, though, could be coming away with the 7-2, getting a little bit closer, taking away Alpha Red's dominant position.
Right. We should re-mention that it all comes down to points. So IT.City Bacon right now has 12 points, and Alpha Red has 18 points. So it's the amount of games you win, not necessarily your record. That's why we had Buriram, Arctic Wolf, and Toyota Diamond Cobra tied in the standings, despite the fact that Buriram came into this 2-5, and Toyota Diamond Cobra came into this 3-4. So there were a couple of times there where Toyota Diamond lost 2-0, and Buriram got a game. If that makes any sense to you guys. So, I mean, you can kind of see that in the inconsistent play of Buriram as well, right? They were like just pushovers in game 1, and then game 2 they kind of showed something there. So perhaps against a weaker team, they could have won just one of them and lost the series. Certainly something we can see happen.
They were moving towards an almost game tie-ish.
They were almost tied, kind of, sort of, in the mid game a little bit, and then they died, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
I mean, but that's what happens when you have a really strong team against a less strong one. Eventually, the experience or just better macro strategy will shine through, even if they make those missteps in the early mid, and that was very much the case with Alpha Red.
I'm still
Question
curious.
remains, though.
I'm still curious if Alpha Red was trying to just win with an opposite draft. It's like, we just beat you guys with this draft where you guys couldn't dive our backline. So we're going to try to do the same exact thing and see if we can still win. And it actually worked out. But that said, the Fennec and Natalia were doing a lot of work in that game for their
Yes.
opponents. So, well,
Fans coming out here. Pretty solid.
I feel like every single lower team in this league bans Greg, and none of the higher teams have banned him. It's just...
Also, another thing, like, this is something that I haven't seen talked about or utilized very much by teams, is like ban strategy, where you just want to save the most powerful pick for last because you can force out your enemy team to do it. Like, especially if you're blue side. And I haven't really seen a lot of that, at least today. And I'd like to see someone pick it up because it's a really good strategy, I swear.
What's the really good strategy that you're talking about?
If you're blue side and there's a really, really powerful pick, don't ban it.
Right, and force the other team to ban it.
Force red to waste it.
Right, the problem is that there's... I mean, we just made a tier list which had 25 heroes in tier S, and we stand by it because there's just so many good heroes right now, and we've seen this in the bans. There's no like automatic bans in any of these games except for Grak for some strange reason, right? And even the first picks haven't been the same throughout any of these games. So this is interesting. Bacon bans the Chognar, and the Chognar is a typical, not a soft counter, not a hard counter, not even a soft counter, but just a way to deal with Mina and her Dark Dominion, which is so oppressively good at the moment. But TDC, instead of going for the Mina, they go for the Crest, which is the other ult, which is really, really good, and which you need Chognar to deal with. So it looks like they prefer the Crest ult over the Mina ult, which I don't really blame them. It's pretty strong, and looks like we're gonna have our first view of Annette on the day.
Oh boy.
For those of you on servers who don't have Annette, this will be pretty interesting. Her passive heals. She gets stacks whenever anyone uses an ability near her. That includes her herself. And you get a certain amount of stacks. And when someone on your team falls below 70% health, she heals the entire team around her. Which is interesting because in certain situations you don't want it to go off that quickly. Her first ability is an area of effect damage and slow. Her 2 is a slow, but if you hit 2 heroes in the same line with it, then they snap together, and it's an amazing CC ability. And her 3 is like this massive hurricane that you can use to knock players back and really just disrupt the battlefield while protecting your teammates.
This is a draft, D2. I'm really not entirely sure what's going on, but things are being drafted.
Well,
I assume there's a strategy behind it.
You see this a lot. For some reason, the top teams always find themselves in this position where they get top tier heroes near the bottom of their draft. You look at Bacon, and they get the Lindis has been banned or highly picked in multiple drafts, and yet IT.City Bacon just picks her up casually in the 3rd slot. They got the Mina in the second round, in the first round of picking, they got the Mina. Excuse me. And now they get this Raz down near the bottom, and Memarx is one of the best Raz players in the entire world, if not the best. I would actually say he's the best. I'm gonna throw that out there, right? He's the best Raz player in the world, and TDC just lets him have it. So yeah, that just happened, and in the meantime, they have a Rourke, who I haven't seen in a long, long time.
No, after the tower pushing nerfs, he hasn't really been anywhere near as strong, but he's still, got that ultimate, able to prevent CC, get himself a little bit of shielding. So we'll see that used here. Hopefully for TDC to great effect, but Bacon actually has a pretty nice composition here. A lot of pick potential and a lot of damage from that Raz, from that Lindis.
I think a lot of this has to come down to, it looks like Snow's going to be on the Annette and Chidawan's going to be on the Crushed. It comes down to those 2 characters because there's no way without the Chognar to deal with that. So they need to really land those CC abilities and land them in a big way to take control of these team fights.
I feel like TDC don't really have anywhere near as much damage as IT.City Bacon. But I'm not sure if that's just a gut feeling that's wrong or if it's actually true.
They don't have as consistent damage, I'll put it that way, because Lindis just sits there and auto attacks and does a ton of damage. Same thing with Raz. There's burst damage if you look at the Liliana and the Ryoma and the Rourke. Those 3 can really burst someone down, but they don't have the sustained damage, and it really relies on them getting close, with the exception of Liliana, obviously. So that's what it comes down to, essentially. Mr. Suns is really going to have to get close with his Rourke, but I don't really see how that's going to happen. I suppose it's nice to deal with the Dark Dominion from Moss and just kind of override that. So that's one thing to keep in mind as we get into our game here. Looks like Moss is going to try to be a nuisance, but unable to get in and disrupt Mr. Suns here.
I mean, I suspect the strategy for Mr. Suns might just be to split push just the entire game and just be a thorn in the side of IT.City Bacon.
Well, without the bug, whoa, just gets pulled in, and it's a good thing that Summer is there to help him out and the rest of his team. But he doesn't really have. He does have some damage on that slide lane, but it's not something that you can really rely on. It's not really a solo queue game, right? So City Bacon obviously is going to be really good at the rotations, and I really doubt they're going to let that happen.
A fair point. No buffs traded this time, it looks like. Both junglers getting both buffs early on.
Yeah, there were a couple of attempted invades, so it's not like people are playing completely passively here.
It's not complacency, it's just good countering. Oh. Bacon going in for the engage. Ooh. They get the pull onto Mr. Suns. Moss getting pretty low, though, on the return. He might be the first blood here. Going to get taken down there by Summer. But meanwhile, in the backline, Mr. Suns has hit level 4. Gets the ultimate with the shields. And Sherry going to follow up 2-0 for Toyota Diamond Cobra. What a great start to the game for them.
Yeah, that was just, in a way, a little bit unfortunate for City Bacon because they got Mr. Sun so incredibly low, but at the same time, it was also an overextension because they pushed him back, he got low, but right on time, he was able to get his ultimate up in order to get that massive shield and be right back into the fight. You know, obviously, he wouldn't be able to go back into the fight still extremely low as he is kind of a semi-melee character. But yeah, well done by TDC. That said, look at the gold score. Huh. How about
this?
This
keeps happening, too.
It's like it never happened.
Yeah, like the better team or the higher rated team just always ends up having more gold just by virtue of being good. Which, I mean, I guess is sort of what you want to see, and that is the difference between a lower and higher tier team, but it's really discouraging when it's like, yeah, we just got a 2-0 and we're still even in gold.
Sherry's being very daring here, trying to come in with his shield and pop that shit on. Great ult jumps on there, but in comes the Angelic Splendor to help them all out. Everyone's extremely low. Mr. Sunt is likely going to fall to Sherry, I guess, and 007 is going to fall himself as well to the jumping Crash. And too many members are low, but Memark's able to get the flicker in and the final kill there. But yeah, great play by the Crush, especially realizing that that was his only way to get that final kill, especially since we saw that many members were low, including Moss on the side of City Bacon there.
D2, it happened again.
Well,
TDC got the Abyssal, got the fight, down in gold.
They didn't necessarily get the fight. They lost 2-1 there. So, or no, 3-1 actually. So that's the reason why. But they did get the Abyssal, so there's that. I think the kills in the Abyssal traded out there as far as gold is concerned. Because I think that most of the members congregated for that particular fight. Interesting to see these dual lanes. So it looks like they're going with the Annette playing full support here. We have a side lane Crushed, and I believe that we're going to see the typical Crushed side lane build, which... Oh, he's going off it a little bit. Looks like he's going for the Gaia Standard second after that one first item that built into Mantle of Raw. But a lot of times, we've seen a lot of Crush go for a side lane build in which they go for, it's kind of like a hybrid, right? Like whereas, you know, a full support Crush would just go for mostly defensive items.
Right. I assume he just wants the wave clear from the heart.
Oh, dodges Metamorphosis.
That's a good dive.
Oh, he isn't able to get all the minions though. Looks like Memark is trying to get those minions. He is able to do so, but he's probably going to die himself for his efforts. And probably going to lose the tower in the end regardless. So, Sherry did a decent job jumping over the Metamorphosis, but he wasn't able to get the minions before they took down the tower. I love the split screen, by the way. They were showing IT.City Bacon taking out the top tower while all that was going down. So not a huge loss for IT.City Bacon. Still ahead in gold, but looks like that's probably going to get evened up here. No, looks like they're going to scare off Diamond Cobra. Can they get this before it gets leashed once more? Who actually took that? Oh, stolen by Rourke. Okay. And in comes the Angelic Splendor. Everyone gets stunned out. Sherry's going to try to see what he can get, but in the end, just nothing happened. Everyone, just nothing to see here. Let's go home.
Yeah, but TDC is surprisingly taking the early game at this point. They've won a lot of fights. They've gotten both Abyssals at this point, and They're showing a lot of initiative here, which is not what I would have expected with the difference in placements between these teams.
That said, if you look at the situation here as far as towers are concerned, IT.City Bacon is taking 2-1, so they are winning on that front. They're winning like on all the small details and all the fine print. I feel like IT.City Bacon is winning, and these big flashy team fights, TDC is coming out ahead majority of the time.
That Mina skin is awesome. I don't know why that's the only thing I've noticed, but it's the only thing I've noticed. Pretty sweet.
It's perfectly fine. Moss is in a bit of trouble though. Has to pop the Essence of the Wind active in order to get out of there. But they are continuing to put on the pressure. They knocked off the Sage Golem. Actually, it does go to the 007 here. So able to take that.
Cool there.
Yeah, very nice. And also knowing the timings there. Exactly. Just getting in there, pulling it, knowing that they can kill it. Memark takes out Rhea in the meantime, by the way. Just 1v3? Hello?
Yeah. Observers? Hello?
The camera went back to that situation, and Memarks was standing next to 2 other heroes from 200 Diamond Cobra, and yet he was the one with the kill. Like, hello?
My brain literally did not process that he was still alive. I was like, Memarks is dead. How is he still on the...
He killed him. Somehow that happened. And they just pushed down the second tower, and they're pushing on the high ground tower. They're all over the place. IT.City Bacon is everywhere at once. Someone should report them for cheating because they're playing with 8 players.
This is really, really incredibly good macro here from IT.City Bacon. They're just playing the map like a fiddle at this point, and TDC can't really respond, it seems. They've suddenly lost their lead by like 2K within the span of less than 60 seconds.
Wait, Moss is within 4 heroes. I don't know what's going on, but in comes the Angelic Splendor. They're still in this.
Alive.
Moss is going to run away, but Sherry's in trouble. Lots of members getting extremely low, including Sherry, but they're unable to finish off Mr. Suns after he goes in, so that's an unfortunate situation there for Bacon. Roxy was on the other side of the map, so not the best fight to take it there, but 007 is going to continue to go in there. Agony Scratch onto them. Sorry, he is dead to the Dioma, and all of a sudden they're fighting 3v5 and making it work.
Yeah, this is really good team fight spacing from IT.City Bacon. They just know exactly where to zone off and where to let their carry split. Like this Lindis for 007 has not been pressured a single time in that fight and was able to get off so much damage. And it's really showing in the results of the fights where it's just like, okay, they're dead, right? They're dead, right? And we're just sitting here expecting them to die because that's what should happen. But no, IT.City Bacon just play it absolutely brilliantly, and they're able to win the fight. And off that, it looks like they're going to take the Darkslayer.
Yeah, all that said, did Xenio get away? Xenio got away. Xenio was in a lot of trouble in the split screen there, and you managed to get out versus 3. By the way, pro tip is Xenio, you wait for their stuns to come, and then you use your Angelic Splendor. Otherwise, they can stun you out of it. But yeah, down goes the Darkslayer. They do have the Drake potentially to throw out here. And look at the top side tower here for Diamond Cobra. Like, it's already 2/3 health. And they're collapsing onto this Abyssal Dragon Craze. But they might lose their high ground tower in the meantime. That's not a trade that they really want to take. Because City Bacon has the waves pushed out. They don't have to take a fight if they don't want to.
It's not even 10 minutes, so it's not the Empowered Abyssal.
Oh, that's right. Okay, it's even less good then.
Yeah, it's really bad. Mr. Sun's getting picked off is even worse. TDC Snow might get picked off there. No, he's going to be just fine. Moss looking for a pick on the side. They've already got that high ground tower. They have the Drake in the base. They might be able to push an end here. 007 trying to take out that high ground tower, but Cheetah going in for the engage. Meanwhile, in the back of the fight, there's a lot of damage coming out for Ibag, and it looks like they will take out Cheetah. Great defense there of their carry, and now this should be the game. Drake is pushing in. The minions are here in the middle lane. They'll be able to take the second high ground tower, if nothing else. They do take it down, and now Moss looking for the pick, gets the Dark Dominion onto 1. Snow gets taken out first. Rie still trying to chunk out with as much damage as possible. Mr. Suns has to pop the ultimate, but will it be enough to keep him alive? It is enough to stall the game. But at this point, honestly, I don't see a way TDC can come back. There's 4 in the base. There's 4 that should be on the core, but they are just so allergic to putting damage down, trying to get that high ground tower instead. Sherry doing the best he can, but tanking so much tower, and this could still still be the game here. They pick off one. Rie wants to go in, not able to pick off Cherry though. Instead, dies.
That was so dirty. Agni's Grasp into Dark Dominion. Talk about stun locked into just oblivion there. Chinawan's just is sad that he ever lived in existence in the first place. As Mr. Sun's
that was.
Oh my goodness. Moss, what are you doing? Hello? Okay, I guess he knows what he's doing because they're all dead. Dark Dominion comes out. That's a big ult there from Snow, but he's going to fall regardless. It looks like this one is done and dusted.
These team fights from IT.City have been so incredibly good. Like, this is just kind of disgusting, honestly. They're still alive. They haven't even backed yet, and they'll take the core eventually. Taking game one. That was kind of a nasty last minute. And look at them. They're laughing. They know.
You know what I think? You know what I think, Niberia? I think after they lost the finals to Korea, they had been working on their split push. Because we saw it that game. They were doing an immaculate job of split pushing. And in the AWC finals, the big story was that they were great at team fights, but they were getting out macroed by Korea. So maybe they've been working that all along, and that's why it was a bit sloppy in the early game as they're trying to mix their team fight capabilities and their ability to group at the right time with the also ability to split push and play the macro game. And so they're really trying to combine those abilities. And we saw a bit of sloppiness at times, like this particular fight where they lost, multiple members. But I think at the same time, what they're trying to get accomplished is have the best of both worlds, have great team fight capabilities while also having that amazing macro. And we saw both examples of this game, but also some sloppiness mixed in between.
Yeah, no, they really just played incredibly decisively with their map movements around. Is this the one where Memarks gets a kill like 1v3? No, this is the one where he just totally dies. That other one was mid lane.
I don't think they even showed that. I don't even know they saw that on the
They really need to, because I want to see it.
By the way, we're seeing these team fights are so chaotic, it's hard to see, but Snow's doing a great job with her ult. You can see she pops her ult here, like zones out multiple members. She was able to get multiple kills for her team by just completely splitting the opposing team. So you see the power of Annette there with her ult, just splitting people off. And it's almost like just a better version of Baldom if you think about it, right? Because Baldom, his ult is so clunky and doesn't always get off, whereas Annette's ult is like, oh, by the way, you're split now. And deal with it.
Well, I mean, the other thing about Baldwin's ult is it removes them from play.
Right.
And sometimes you don't even want that. Sometimes you just need the displacement and you need the zoning tool because you still want to kill them. Whereas Baldwin is just like, oh, I accidentally landed an ult on all of them.
Right.
I screwed up. And that's never a feeling you want to have.
Yeah, the thing is for... I'm going to talk about my own play, but... So cover your ears if you don't want to hear that. But whatever, I'm like a unabashed Max main, and I've been getting better at Jinnar. But when I have to play support, it used to be Alice, but ever since the Pyrrha buff, I've been going with Pyrrha. But looking at Annette, oh my goodness, she looks so much fun to play.
Yeah, I kind of want to pick up Mina just for that skin. I'm not gonna lie, D2.
Mina is probably the most frustrating experience in solo queue that you could possibly have.
Oh, I know. I used to be a Mina main when I first started. She was all I played for like 10 to 15 games, which isn't a lot for most people, but considering I've played like 200, still a pretty significant chunk.
I have like 500 max games alone.
Jesus. Yeah, well, my phone is just so absolute garbage. It runs out of battery within like 4 or 5 games, which is why I'm waiting for Switch to be full release.
Okay, you have to have the grip for the. You like wedge your 2 fingers between the charger while you're playing.
Yeah, but that's uncomfortable, D2. That's really uncomfortable.
How do you think I have like my stupid drunk streams where I'm streaming for like 9 hours straight?
You're so drunk you don't remember how uncomfortable it is.
Exactly.
That's the key. That's what I've been missing. That's why I want the ROG phone. Honestly, Asus ROG phone. Have you seen that thing?
Oh, I have not. I think I've seen. I was gonna say a scene of it. Does that make any sense? Like I've heard / I barely took a glass.
All right, so let me just give you the preview. 3.0 gigahertz, 8-core processor, which is like laptop level.
Okay.
Liquid cooling. I kid you not, actual liquid cooling in a phone.
That's
6-inch
interesting.
screen, which is like okay. But the most important thing for me, the thing I'm most excited about, is you can charge it from the side. Like there's charge ports at the side of the phone.
That is actually really important for mobile gaming. So yeah.
Right. No, it's really designed for mobile gaming. It's like if the Razer phone was on steroids. Like it also has air triggers, which are it basically senses where your fingers are and you can use them as triggers and program in functionality.
I'm just wondering.
So like for your active items, you can have them on the triggers. It's really cool.
That's like I can't even comprehend what's going on right now. But all I know is that I hope we get in the Zeus sponsorship after this.
Oh yeah, please, dude! I need a discount on that phone. I can't afford it. I need a down payment on it. Like that's how expensive it is. But we apparently like have a game going or something. D2 the Grak Valheim the Raz band makes a lot of sense after last game, but
they forgot that me Marks is the best Raz player in the world.
Yeah, they're like, oh right.
By the way, can I ban these teams from banning Grak? Can I ban the ban? You are banned from banning Grak. Stop! He's not that good anymore. It's not ban worthy at least. Oh my goodness.
Every game, man.
And it's always the team that loses. I've never seen a team ban Grak and win. Granted, I've only been casting since yesterday, but
yeah, but hey, man, that's a sample size of like 4 series so far.
Yeah, this is the 5th series, so oh my goodness.
Bam, math.
Well, me Marks is just as good, or maybe not just as good, but very good with Liliana. So gonna go with that.
Dude, is Roxy rocking jorts? Is that what I'm seeing? Jean shorts? Like, come on. That's fashion faux pas here in Arena of Valor. But anyways.
It looks better on women than... Anyway, whatever.
It does. It does. But, like, jorts are still a crime, I think. As long as you're not Kevin Smith, though, it can only be so bad.
Right. But it's Roxy. She's cool, so it's fine.
Yeah. She's cool, and she's got, like, rollerblades, so that... She's technically skates.
She's straight from the 80s, so yeah.
Yeah. So it's fine on her. Anyways, we've got Pura, we've got Aram, we've got Lindis versus Jorts McGee and Liliana.
Well, Lindis hasn't been picked yet, and are we going to see the same situation where they just double summon just gets Lindis? This feels like he wants to practice Slims in a real game. That's what this feels like. Otherwise, why not just pick Lindis?
Well, that's Slims. That's a net. I'm actually interested to see IT.City Bacon playing Annette. I want to see if the strategy is any different with the ultimate usage, because I think that's one of the things that really separates like decent Annettes from really good ones is how you use her ultimate.
Right. To be fair, I feel like Snow did a pretty good job on the Annette.
Oh, absolutely. But IT.City Bacon, is almost inarguably a better team overall. So I want to see if there's additional strategies they come out with where they use it as a displacement into Roxy Ultimate or something like that.
Right. The funny thing is Moss typically plays your frontline supports, like the Mina and like the Grak. People who just kind of stand there and take a lot of damage. So interesting to see
Mina's
if
still
you play.
available. Interesting.
Will they? I don't know if Mina's the greatest pick here because they don't really have a true silenter, if that's the case.
Yeah. All right.
Crush makes more sense. Crush.
Yeah.
Crush is. I feel like Crush is going to be picked more and more around the world as we go forward. He's already been picked like half the games, right? But the fact that you can play him side lane and have his insane ult at the same time is just kind of unprecedented. Like no side laner has an ult that just completely changes the fight. It just doesn't exist. Like usually when you have this massive control-y ult, it's on the tank, which he is a tank, but he's also a side laner, so it's just insane to think about. And just having that flexibility is so powerful. And the biggest thing about it is that if you play against a Chognar, you can pick a Mina and they pick Chognar and you just pick Crest as well, which is what we saw yesterday. and then you use one of your ults. You use either Dark Dominion or Metamorphosis, and then the Chognar uses, I think it's called Chaos Dimension, and nullifies it. Then you use your other one, and they're all screwed because only Chognar can get through that.
Right. I honestly think that flex picks, as the meta evolves, are going to be more and more important because there's so much power you have in the drafting phase when you pick something that can go multiple places. There's not a lot of flex picks at the moment, but things like Crash, for that reason, you're saying, really going to go up in prominence. Aram as well has that ability to flex both as a support or as a solo lane.
Yeah, the problem with Aram, however, is that she's way better as a solo lane than she is as a support, whereas Crush is very good at both. Or he's better as a support, but he's competent as a side laner. He's not going to get bullied out. You see a little bit of an invade here coming into Bacon. Looks like they're going to try to leash it, but unsuccessful in doing so, at least quite yet. But Double Summon's getting quite a bit of damage in. And this is actually some of the power of Pura, because she's able to get that healing off in the early game and limit some of that damage. Really makes her good in the laning phase. But wow, tons of damage going off of both sides. Rhea's getting extremely low. Is she going to go down? Mr. Sun trying to get what she can done here. And wow. That Shining Light by me marks.
Blood.
Finally got
They're
it.
still going.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit risky because Snow is there with the heal, but they're able to steal it out.
Moss in a lot of trouble there. Has to blow the heal. I'm actually really interested in seeing how this game develops because TDC has so much damage in their composition between Natalia and Lindis. It's sort of like the first composition we saw today with the Violet and Natalia combo. But on top of that, you have the Ryoma and the massive lockdown from Aram and the heals from Pura. So you have like a really good just knock someone's face right off composition. But the question is if they're going to be able to do anything against IT.City Bacon, because last game Bacon just kind of blew the game wide open.
Well, a big part of that as well is seeing if Sherry can kind of mess up the entire team fight by using Metamorphosis, because again, there's no real way to deal with it. So, even if all that damage starts coming out, one ult from Cherry just knocks everything back, and all of a sudden you have a reset team fight, and City Bacon has the more scrappy composition where they can kind of work from multiple angles, whereas TDC is more focused on getting that big burst damage in.
Right. And based on last game, I expect that Sherry will be very adept at using the crashed ultimates. Showed a lot of good decision making with the Xenial ultimate.
These team fights are so insane, just kind of back and forth poking, getting some damage in, running away, and nothing actually comes of any of it, but they're like, it's just so hard to zone either team out with the compositions that they currently have.
Yeah, neither team really wants to commit. Like, there's not enough damage to really threaten against the Pura. Oh, Remix. Way out of position there.
I think he used Agni's... Oh, speaking of out of position, good night, Snow. Looks like he was trying to use Agni's Grasp to pull someone over, but just get completely melted by Natalia, which is why she's so highly considered in Thailand, it must be said. But here we see some of the members from IT.City Bacon coming alive, especially with those ults from Sherry and from Moss on the Annette and the Crushed.
Able to pick up that Abyssal Dragon. Oh, Remix, stealing it from over the wall.
Tried to get the Agnes. Oh, hello, taking a ton of damage. Can't run away, unfortunately. Stuck between a rock and a hard place there. Tried to go right, but the beam was already there. So couldn't go left because big sword coming in from Dyoma.
Natalia, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's if you can.
That's basically the story of that gank. There was so much damage threat coming out, and there wasn't really anything to be done.
This does actually make me want to play Natalia after not really giving her much of a hand there as far as my looking at her tier list, but she is quite powerful if you have that kind of team comp. Ooh, Sherry locked down and dead, but Chitty not dead. Wow, use all the heals. You have to use a heal and a Nature's Blessing in order to get her out of that one. But looks like there's no actually other pressure on the map from City Bacon, so this is just a straight up win here for TDC.
Yeah, kind of uncharacteristic lack of macro decision making here from IT.City Bacon, but they did have a fairly rough early game last game as well. So they might just not have great early game planning, whereas in the mid late game their plans become a lot more concrete and they're able to adapt better.
Well, it took a little while to materialize, but they did finally get 3 top in order to pick up the tower. And TDC is a little bit slow to realize that was the direction from City Bacon. In fact, they kind of just rotated back and tried to deal with it. I would have liked to see them just continue to push the second tower if that was the case, because City Bacon kind of took a while to get to that point.
Yeah. No, just some interesting macro decisions from both sides. We'll just leave it there. Also, that crash skin. I know I'm talking about skins a lot today, but that one is just like genuinely adorable.
It's a shark and a shark.
I know.
I'm so confused.
So great.
It's a hammerhead shark inside a great white shark. I'm like, what is happening right now? It's like, hello? What is... Question mark? The
greatest cosplay of all time. You thought I was a shark, but actually, I was a shark.
Oh my goodness.
He was a spy in the Great Shark Wars.
I can't. I can't follow up on that one. Alright, well, it looks like the Abyssal Dragon is under contention again. If Bacon takes this, they still are going to be down in gold. That's just how this game has gone so far. TDC is congregating up top, trying to get something done on the tower, and it looks like Bacon's going to try to just rotate and pick them off here. Rhea throws out an Arcane Orb just to try to get something gone. Big Metamorphosis comes out. They're able to take out Summer potentially, but he rotates out Spectral Ire, gets a lot. Bacon's 007 goes down after everyone tried to go onto the Yoma to no avail. And that is just being outplayed here as TDC takes that fight.
Yeah, TDC playing that incredibly well with really fast snap targeting there onto 007. They knew exactly what they wanted when they got into that fight, and they just murdered his face.
Yeah, and on the other side, City Bacon just poor targeting. They're trying to chase down the Dioma, but he was able to just jump out of there and uses the Spectral Hour to get that healing right back up to full, or at least near full.
Yeah, I want to see IT.City Bacon putting a lot more pressure on the Natalia in these fights, because that's where a lot of the damage is going to be coming from for now, at least. Later in the game, the Lindis is going to be a threat, but I honestly don't feel like focusing Summer is ever the right decision unless it's a genuine, like, 1v5 pick.
She is doing quite a bit of damage right now, though, especially with that Scorching Wind coming out, which is actually interesting because you typically want to build more CDR, more cooldown reduction for your Lindis. But she's going for attack speed, which helps as far as taking down towers. But you do have your ult, which you can constantly go off. So it's kind of just interesting to look at. On the other hand, Slims has been building Scorching Wind throughout the recent games that we've seen. But I believe that 007 is going for the correct build, going for the Soul Reaver, getting that extra damage out. So that does mean he's going to take a while to get online, as he needs that attack speed to actually help him in particular team fights. But once he gets higher up, it's going to be pretty powerful. This is a funny double ult here. Metamorphosis and the snare coming down. And hello? That's not me. That is that's the actual stream. That's not me.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I'm pretty sure D2's not running this stream off an iPhone. Did they just pause because of the iPhone update?
Are we going to have our spectator update their iPhone while we sit here and wait? I was freaking out too. I'm like, wait, what? How? My brain just exploded. I'm not actually doing it that way.
You just like, I don't even own an iPhone.
Well, technically I do, but it's like over on the side here, and it's certainly not on.
We'll see what the pause was for, but I genuinely do think it was because of the spectator bug. I didn't see anyone call for it, and they're not showing anyone who was calling for it on screen right now. So
good old iOS ruining a $180,000 league tournament because we have to update right now and we cannot wait. I don't care about your game. I don't care if it's literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line. We're going to update right now.
Yeah, that was
that
was an interesting interlude there, but Darkslayer are going to be the target here for IT.City Bacon, which would be really huge for them. They should be able to secure it here. They've got Punish available. All right, good. It wasn't stolen by Summer. That'd be really disappointing, but they get the Agnes grasp onto Snow, able to pull him back, but it looks like everyone is going down, trying to zone out IT.City Bacon, and they split up the fight really well. TDC should be able to take this one. Going to go for Moss first and then onto Remix. And they don't pick up Moss. There's a lot of low health bars there for TDC. 007 might be able to get the damage he needs. They pick up one. They pick up two. Sherry just really popping off in this fight. Cheetah goes in, gets the snare. And now it is a 3 versus 2. But 007 is still so high on health. It is 007 versus Mr. Suns for all intents and purposes.
Right, but
no ultimate available.
Sherry's rage is going up there. He has his ult. If he could just get a couple more attacks off, that him not having his ult there was huge. He could have completely turned the fight around. He was trying to build it up the entire time, but unable to get it up there. And you know how it feels like when you can't get it up, Nigeria.
Oh, well, whoa.
007 knows that as well. And finally, the ult comes out from Sherry, able to take down the Lindis here. But, oh, okay, here comes Roxy. Here comes reinforcements. Perhaps they can take this, but Sherry's falling down quite a bit there.
Yeah, not going to go for the Agnes Grasp there. Would be a little bit over-aggressive. So good to see them decide against it. But IT.City Bacon, despite getting the Darkslayer, still kind of behind in tempo and control in the game. They're just not able to win these fights. They're getting split up, shut down.
Well, they're able to take... Okay, they released the Drake. I was going to say, did they release the Drake? And they just did right now. They're able to take the Abyssal. Oh, it was pre-buff Abyssal. Okay. So they get that extra gold, but the second Abyssal is about to spawn right now, so they can try to go for that, and their curse is down as well. So it looks like they're going to try to do that, but first they're going to try to go for this tower, which the Drake will help quite a bit with.
TDC just going to try and clear out the waves.
And Natalia's great at doing that, for sure.
Yep. Using the ultimate just for the Drake, though. Not quite able to get the tower as a result.
It is a somewhat low cooldown ultimate, but yeah, I was gonna say City Bacon may try to take that because of that. Try to take the Abyssal because of the ult being off cooldown in that small window, but probably not worth. And you can
just a little risky.
You can see, by the way, the buff to Koresh weighing large here because he's able to get his rage up so quickly and have his ult up immediately, whereas before it just was ages before anything could happen. But snare on the remix, he is able to potentially get away from here, but that's a lot of damage, and he finally goes down. Summer able to get that final blow.
Yeah, remix is tanky, but not quite that tanky. Oh, Moss nearly getting killed there by Rie's ultimate, but Rie caught out of position as a result. Snow going down as well. Summer should follow.
Yeah, while all that was going on before, the Lindis went down to the 4-man roam here from City Bacon. So, well, you know, they basically traded kills out, but they didn't have the Lindis for that particular fight. Speaking of TDC.
Yeah, 4 for 2 across the map overall, and Kresh should be able to pick up this bottom tower finally. Sherry going to get that second outer for the team. Mid lane still available. They should probably go for that and just work on putting pressure down onto the map because that's something IT.City Bacon have been kind of slipping up on.
Ooh, so Sherry's building toward a Fenrir's Tooth for his 5th item. So once he gets that, that's going to be a huge difference in these fights. Able to take the might buff as well. No, they both have might buffs. I got confused because they both have red circles underneath them.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not. Who? Okay.
looks like the heal went down, but the red buff is up. Anyway, Roxy's in a bit of trouble here, but should be fine because she's Roxy. Even with the nerf to her health and armor, it's still she has fire skates, so no problem there.
Yeah, just enough move speed to get through it.
So Slims has a lot of damage per attack, by the way, no, because he's built a lot of damage. But in comes Cheetah onto the Moss, just completely just dominated and taken out. That is a great move from Cheetah, able to run away. But Snow is in trouble as well, a little bit too far forward. But down goes Memarks. This fight is all over the place. People just getting swatted.
007 still up.
Oh my goodness. What is with the burst in this game? People just melting left and right. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, that was a really odd fight, but somehow 007 survived through it, which is the real advantage there for IT.City Bacon. They should be able to push down onto something. It looks like they're going to decide to go for that Drake.
Okay, Slims has 7.3 gold. It's about 3k less than the Crush on his team. He needs to really get up there. I feel like 007 is not as good with Slims as he is with Lindis.
Probably not, just based on those two performances. But 007 does pick up the Dark Blessing. We'll have that revive. And that is, as you were saying, a lot of damage per auto.
Right. So he actually went to Devil's Handshake, which you don't always see. A lot of times you go into Slick Sting because it's considered the better item. But he put his first item, Soul Reaver, and his third item, Clavis Sancti. He went full damage, essentially, right? There's no attack speed in either of those. So now he wants to go as much attack speed as possible to make up for that. So very interesting build, and it certainly makes sense, theory crafting-wise.
Not going for a fight just yet, but they're looking to position for it. IT.City Bacon. Really aggressive positioning. They still have the buff available. Oh, might get a pick here onto Snow. They get the stun. They get the spear as well. Snow's down.
Snow has died a lot this game, being completely out of position. I know he wants to support his team, but maybe let Arm take that.
Maybe, just maybe.
Oh, it looks like we have our Roxy in a bit of trouble, but IT.City Bacon can rotate back onto this, the Dome if they need to. They're going to go for these Mr. Suns instead, and down he goes in a flash. And that allows them to potentially take this tower, especially because we had missed on her Arcane Spirits. And Moss misses with the ult there, unable to get the pick off, but Rhea might go down anyway. But a 007! Oh, that was the Dark Slayer buff. Or the, whatever it's called.
Yeah, that buff thing.
That buff thing that revives you and prevents you from dying. That's pretty good. Hey, how about that? And still, look at this Nova and Roxy just having like a wet noodle fight in the mid. Like, no one can kill each other.
Wrap it out, man.
This is like the never-ending fight between these two. If we both can heal. Oh my goodness. By the way, interesting that we only have one anti-heal item on the side of IT.City Bacon, that being the Tome of the Reaper from Memarks for the third item. Other than that, I do not see a Curse of Death. So yeah, really important for Memarks to get her abilities off on anyone being healed by Snow or Chitawan. Not to mention Mr. Suns, who probably has a lot of lifesteal in her kit, or in her build. Ooh.
Oh, Metamorphosis going down. Sherry looking for the jump.
Yeah, Snow.
Not really hold on off it, but pressure on the tower nonetheless.
Yeah, Snow got a little bit spooked there. Had to use Essence of the Wind active for that shield, and well, goodbye minion wave.
Yeah, that wave clear is just nuts.
It's like, oh, we have like 2 siege minions and a couple more. Maybe we can. No, sorry, Natalia.
It's 3v5, and they were able to clear the wave without fighting.
And Summer's in this bush, and Sherry sniffs it out. Gonna potentially go for a fight here, but Sherry's getting extremely low. Doesn't have his ult. He might just go down, and he does. Does he have to revive? I believe he does. Yeah, he's gonna come back here. Remix getting low as well, but members on TDC are dying in the meantime. Big pull onto Mr. Suns. He falls down, and Remix is just in this fight. Doesn't give one darn, especially fighting his Pyrrha.
Snow might be the next target here.
There's just no damage.
Summer.
There's no
Summer's
damage.
trying to get out.
Yeah, Summer's like, I'm done with this fight.
There. Moss in a little bit of trouble, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a problem as Remix just chasing down onto Summer.
I just love how the remaining members of City Bacon all have staffs. They're just running around. I'm going to get you with my staff. Oh, big old coming in.
There's the Metamorphosis onto Summer. That should be enough damage to take him out versus one. No problem there.
Moss? Okay, Moss is able to stay in there. Oh, another ability I forgot to mention on Moss. She has a passive for her second ability that if you get stunned, she gets a shield and gets unstunned. It's pretty good. Forgot about that one.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong ability.
It's like, I kind of like it. That's why you see her get a shield every once in a while. And it's not always the Essence of the Wind, which is her support ability or support item.
It's looking like it's going to be a full reset here. IT.City Bacon currently up about 8k gold. Way up in towers, way up in abyssals. The only Dark Slayer that's been taken so far, which means they should by all rights be in control of the game, but honestly, it feels like TDC has a pretty good chance of pulling it back. They get the jump on to Moss. Moss gets snared out, but it won't be enough. The damage from Rie as the follow-up won't get the kill. Cheetah getting hit by that spear. Follow-up stun from Marks. They might be able to get the pick here. Remix coming in from the side for the flank. They get it onto Snow. That Pura is almost certainly dead, and they've gotten the one pick off. The Abyssal Dragon and the Dark Slayer both still on the map. It looks like they're going to go for Slayer.
I think that's probably the game. TDC can't take a team fight. That means they have to give up at least one of these. But they nearly killed the Roxy. How did that happen? Roxy, what are you doing? What are you doing, girl?
Stalling, I guess.
Stalling, I guess. Why are they trying to fight on two fronts here? I don't understand what's happening.
I don't either, but it looks like they're getting Sherry to try and split the map. So maybe if IT.City Bacon can stall here long enough, Sherry will just get the top inner uncontested. And it looks like that's exactly what's happening. They're getting the backs now.
Okay. So they're just stalling. Okay. And if you get all 9 towers, it's extremely hard to come back because unbeknownst to us when the patch came out, there's this thing called super duper minions. Actually, I don't know what that's called, but that's what we call them. There's these super duper minions.
That's what we're calling them now.
that pass through the middle. They're a new type of minion. Crash gonna pop his ult to get this tower down. Lots of members going extremely low. Remix almost going to fall. He is going to fall in the end, but they do get the tower. And that's what they came for.
That Drake doing a lot of work there. Sherry might get picked off here on the back foot. IT.City Bacon need to back out or take the fight. They need to just make a decision one way or the other. It looks like they're trying to back out, but TDC is on the chase. They might be able to get Sherry, which would be a lot. The flicker in, not able to get the stun. Sherry going to jump out, get that shield. 007 just trying to kite back as best he can, but that is one dead, crashed, and now suddenly the Slims look like he's going to follow. He had the revive, but it won't be enough as he gets taken out once again. So despite having no towers left on the field, TDC will hang on for a little bit longer.
And those are the super dooming minions that I'm talking about. They are massive.
That's kind of disgusting.
Just in case you guys don't know, we did some testing, and the only difference between them and these super minions that you see on the bottom right here is they do more damage, and they also have magic defense. And for some reason, the normal super minions don't have magic defense. But anyway, the end of that fight is that didn't matter at all. After the tower went down, all those kills don't matter at all because the minions were still pushed out, so they can't really get these towers as long as this last little siege minion is cleared off. And that should be done somewhat quickly here because these super minions are here.
Yeah, this is a really good position to be in for IT.City Bacon. That was a lot of poke damage down too.
Marks is getting so much damage off. He typically builds lots of damage into his build. Remixing super low as well. He's going to have to back off here, but Jido's going to jump in. He's the only high health member somehow on their entire team, but he's going to fall because no one else was there to be able to help him out since they all had extremely low health pools. And this is what I was talking about. TDC couldn't do anything after those kills. And so City Bacon says, okay, they're sure, that's perfectly fine. We're going to go ahead and push back here. By the way, Crush switches to Devil's Handshake. If you guys don't know, the Blade of Eternity only has 2 revives. He's already used both revives, so he's switching to Devil's Handshake of all items.
Oh, because of course. Why wouldn't you?
Just attack speed is fine. Mr. Sun's
it's okay.
Oh, Metamorphosis comes out. Mr. Sun's dodges it.
He wants Mr. Sun's.
Attack speed! Attack speed! Devil's Handshake! Okay. We had our fun. The game is over.
That's gonna be the game, yeah. That was a really kind of anticlimactic ending, honestly. But that game was so dragged out. But IT.City Bacon in the driver's seat the whole time. After that rough early game, able to pull it through.
Yeah, they fell behind early game and slowly but surely tied it up. And then slowly but surely took a lead. We were just kind of... I didn't remark on it, and that's kind of my fault. But they were consistently winning like small team fight after a small team fight. And all of a sudden we look up and they're ahead like 5 to 6k gold. And I was like, oh, they're really far ahead. And it didn't seem that way because every single win was very small. But those add up. And from then on, they just slowly pushed their win by taking tower after tower. And they sacrificed their lives for it, but it didn't matter in the end, because once you get all the towers down, not a lot of coming back from that one.
Yeah, really good play there. IT.City Bacon going to be the second team to pick up a series win today, with the first, of course, being Alpha Red. But that will be the final game of the RPL today, D2.
Yep, take a look at the stats here. Sherry, the MVP of TD Bacon. That's pretty accurate. He was pretty dominant there, filling it out for his team. And yeah, not a whole lot else to say other than what we've said already. Other than Snow, just 8 deaths. Oof, that doesn't look good. Was really out of position in a lot of those situations.
Yeah, just trying to make plays and not really being able to execute on it necessarily. Well, something was getting executed, but it was him.
Unfortunately. So, unfortunately for Buriram, Arctic Wolf, and TDC, who are tied coming into the day, they both just kind of flopped, and so they're still tied. Unfortunately. Meanwhile, IT.City Bacon furthers their lead on the 4th place teams, RRQ and Evo's debut, which means that they're inching closer and closer to those playoffs, for which Team Alpha Red, as we mentioned earlier, are the #1 seed. Alright, they're probably going to have an interview after this, which we don't really need to see, so should end here.